everyone. Welcome to the TheMsTexasShow with your co-host, Elena Georgiou. And excited as always to bring you another edition of our show and another wonderful guest. And that guest today is Palabi. She's a crusader, human rights activist specializing in child's rights, gender-based violence, and human trafficking. She has rescued more than 7,000 girls and boys. And we're going to talk about sex trafficking, its application, and perspectives. And we're super excited to have Pallabi with us today to tell us more about her story, her journey, and all the wonderful things she has done, and the wonderful ways she helps others. So with that, we will have Pallabi on the show. So we will look forward to having her and talking with all of you.
The Ms. Texas Show is a voice of hope for victims, survivors, advocates, and community leaders against gender-based violence to share their stories and resources. We began showcasing life in Texas. Today we are impacting lives not only in Texas, but also around the world. Under our segment Military Time, we run this segment in partnership with the National Veterans Chamber of Commerce. We invite military and veterans who have overcome traumatic events to share their experiences during and after their military service. Under our beauty segment, we invite fellow pageant winners and contestants, artists, musicians, actors, models, and dancers, and last but not least, our survivor leaders from family violence, sex trafficking, sexual assault, stalking, and other traumatic events, who are ambassadors for these causes to share their lives and the impact they have made. To become a guest on our show, email us at msusatexas@gmail.com. If you would like to support victims and survivors of gender-based violence, make a tax-deductible donation to Hope Picks Global at www.hopeyxglobal.org.
Hello again, and welcome to the TheMsTexasShow. As always, we are not only excited to have another great conversation, but another incredible guest. So our guest today is no less of an honor and pleasure. So we have Pallabi with us today. She's a founder of the Impact and Dialogue Foundation. She has connected with more than 35,000 people. Wow. And we're super excited to have you here with us today and super honored. And you have definitely had a tremendous journey and a lot of experiences. And you have done so much to help so many others. So Pallabi, if you could let our viewers know about yourself, who you are, a little bit about your journey, and more about you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Elena. I'm so honored to be part of this show. Before I speak a little bit about what I do, it's very important for me to speak, to tell the world the kind of work that we are doing. In fact, Elena is also doing amazing work. The Miss Texas Show is also really doing a lot of good work by, letting people like us speak, giving us a platform, because a lot of us don't have that platform. So thank you to the Miss Texas Show and Elena for inviting me. Secondly, I am a human rights activist. I work in anti-trafficking. It has been 10 years of extensive work in the ground, rescuing children, women, adults from all kinds of trafficking. When we talk of trafficking, it's only prostitution and labor, but a lot of people don't understand that it's beyond that. It's organ harvesting, it is drug trafficking, it's arms trafficking. I have been part of all kinds of rescue missions of trafficking. Now, why I decided to pursue anti-trafficking? That's an important question. A lot of people will be like, what motivated me or what inspired me to do something so dangerous as this? So this is something that I keep telling a lot of people. When I was around 13 years old, I had visited West Bengal, which is in the eastern part of India. And I was roaming in a village and I come across a man in his early 50s. He was hopelessly screaming and shouting that his daughter is missing, and his daughter was of my age. On further conversation, it turned out that the police had turned him away, saying that his daughter might have eloped away with some men. And he started telling me that his daughter was of my age. At that point of time, we didn't have mobile phones. We had nothing. I just noted his name and his village. And I came back home. We started searching for that girl for 5 days. We couldn't find that girl. Still, when I remember that incident, it triggers me. And when I came home, I started connecting with him and everything. I started doing research, understanding what is missing children, because at that point it was missing case, it was not trafficking. And that's how I get into this reality, that what happens to missing children, how they go into trafficking. So that is like 15, 16, 17 years back thing. So that was something that, that triggered me and that pushed me to become an anti-trafficking activist. But then as far as my work is concerned, I feel I cannot change the world, but I know my capacity. So whatever I could, I'm trying to do. Informations I get, I try to connect it, rescue children. It's a very difficult task. But then, somewhere there is a satisfaction when you rescue a child, the smile the child gives you, the way the child tells you that you have given me a second life. I think that is beyond anything else in this world. And that is something that a lot of people will not connect to, because it is about personal experience. Unless and until you face it, Elena will know. She has been talking to people, she has come across a lot of people, so she can connect. A lot of us who do not face it personally will not realize it. So this is one of the main reason that I got into anti-trafficking. And why I started my organization is because I wanted to, you know, bridge the gap. All of us just rescue, but we don't understand that rescue is when you get the information. What about those girls, those men, those children whose information you don't get? So the reason I started this organization was to work on prevention and rehabilitation, because we forget it. Most of us tend to forget it, that prevention and rehabilitation are very important, because until you rehabilitate a traffic survivor or a survivor of sex trafficking, the person will immediately go back to the profession. So that is one of the main reasons that started my organization. In the last, you can say 1.5 years, I've reached more than, I started with reaching out, I reached out more than 35,000, but now I've reached out to more than 75,000 people, giving them awareness, trainings. I run a very small, you can't say shelter home because I'm not authorized to run a shelter home, but I manage the expenses of 30 traffic survivors. I help in their rehabilitation, in their skilling, in their food and accommodation, because that's in my capacity. I'm just a very new person starting an organization in the nascent stage. So yeah, that's what I do at my best.
Wow, I am impressed. This world needs women leaders like you, and thank you for all that you're doing. And may God give you strength to continue this journey. It's really incredible. And all abuse is traumatic and harmful to victims, but many factors in sex trafficking intensifies the pain even more than if a child was solely sexually abused. Trafficked children are deprived of their natural support system. This alone deprives them of their other rights, the right to basic needs, the right to be free from abuse and exploitation, and the right to health and education, among others. And just by losing their family, they lose a better future. And you're doing a great job, Palabi, and hope you continue. They're very lucky they're in India, the people there. And just want to ask you is who is more affected? I mean, what's the target group? Based on your experience as and your work, who is more affected? What age is more affected? Are more
See,
vulnerable?
the most affected are minor children, minor girls, because there is a very, very huge demand of minor girls in the sex trafficking industry. And also people, those who come from very poor families, because they don't have any support system who can come after them. So these are the two categories. And also people, those who come from northeastern states, like people, those who have those oriental features, people whose skin is very soft, they're very highly in demand in the uh, like sex trafficking industry. Girls from Nepal, I hope you know about Nepal, are very, very much highly in demand. Like people are crazy about them, like really crazy about them. And also girls, those who fall easy prey. Like for example, most of the traffic survivors of sex trafficking are girls who are in the age group. Earlier it was 12, it was 12 to 17. Now it has started from 8 years. Girls as young as
Years.
8 years.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
Yeah, girls as young as 8 years are taken. They are given some hormonal injections in India, I'm telling you, so that they look healthy, like they look healthy. Once they get those hormonal injections, they get puberty early. Once they get puberty, what they do in India is that they try to make the girl pregnant. Once the girl is pregnant, they deliver the child, separate the child and the mother, and start blackmailing the mother.
Oh,
You have to do sex work, otherwise your child will be tortured. Now it is our social conditioning. Women are bought in a way. The moment you become a mother, you get to attached with your child, irrespective of whether you are 13 or you are 18. So that's how they manipulate. And secondly, they intoxicate women. In India, there are certain brothels where I have done rescue operations where there is a myth that if virgin girls are, like, they have physical intercourse with, if they have physical intercourse with men who have AIDS, they will be cured. So men believe that if they have AIDS and if they have physically involved with girls who are virgin, they will be cured of AIDS.
oh, that's what they
So
do.
can you just, yeah, so they just find in minor girls, they find minor girls. Like, so you can, and that is the reason these brothel keepers get girls who are 12, who are 13, who are 14, and that's how they torture the girls. They are highly in demand, like it starts from 20,000, 25,000. Now it has gone to 50,000. Also a new trend has come in India where girls from northeastern states, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, are brought to northern part of India. They are groomed as Malaysians, Koreans, Japanese, Chinese, and sold off in the international market, so their price goes from 50,000 to 5 lakhs. So you can understand how this industry is just growing and how highly it's in demand for girls, those who come from this kind of states, who are very vulnerable, are minor.
And what do they want? What do sex traffickers want from minors?
The main thing is that the minor the child, the more exploitation. That's the first thing. Minors don't raise voice. And then they think that if you put a minor into sex trafficking, the minor can work. If you put a, like, for example, if you put a 13-year girl into sex work, the girl can work till she's 30.
Yes.
So like 17 years of work. And the more and more you get customers, the more and more it's in demand. So minors will not rebel. Minors will not fight. They can threaten minors. They can scare the minors. So that's one of the main reasons that minors are so much in demand.
What do you feel as an activist doing this very needed job? It's very, how do you say? It's like a service to humanity. You're saving minors. You have a great mission. What do you feel about it by doing that?
I feel heartbroken because the minor girls who I generally rescue are sold by their uh, relatives, by the people of their village. See, the traffickers, the people, those who run brothels, how will they know that a girl in a village is vulnerable? It is because someone from the village is helping, right? So somewhere I feel heartbroken because, also, if you look at it, it's because of poverty. What are people supposed to do? They don't have food to eat. That's why they just give information. During Corona, engineers were involved in the trafficking of girls, not directly, but luring, calling girls wrong numbers, random numbers. So you can see it's a chain. So when I interview the traffickers tell me they are so poor, they don't have anything. They have been starving for 10 days, 20 days. And there is another reason. If you do a work, like for example, I work, I might be earning $300, $400 a month. I might be earning. If you sell one girl, you can get $300. If you sell 5 girls, imagine you will get like $1,500. So easy money. It's easy money. So, it's heartbreaking, it's painful, but also you can say it's a systemic failure and a systemic oppression that's been prevalent since ages.
So it's all about power and money in this game as we see it. And it's terrible. Have you faced any challenges working against sex trafficking?
Yes. Threatened multiple
Did.
times.
I bet you did.
Yeah, threatened multiple times. I was shown a revolver in the court in Delhi is the capital of India. In Delhi's court, I was shown a revolver by one of the caretaker of a brothel. Multiple threats over phone, multiple bribes. Stop it. We will give you a house. Stop it. We'll give you a car. During Diwali is a very famous festival in India. During Diwali, they used to send car full of alcohols and sweets, and then there are like so one of two three people who worked with me. One of them was shot down. My good luck, I'm still alive. And yeah, it's crazy, it's just crazy. I remember I used to take different vehicles, buses, rickshaws, cars, changing different phone numbers. So when I was fully into rescue, right now I do rescue but not that much, because I'm focused more on prevention, because I realized that I rescued 7,000 people in 10 years. I have impacted 75,000 people in 1 year. So the impact is huge. So I believe in this concept of, treat the disease before you get the disease, rather than putting medicine when you have the disease. So that's one of the reason. Also, lots of abuses. There was a time in Google when if you just put my name, you will see all the vulgar words and abuses on my name. So it's been very challenging, very depressing. You put your name and you see people just saying such vulgar, abusive words. And also, because I'm a Bengali, so Bengali is basically one of the, like, there are different people. There are different people in like, so like, I'm a Bengali, so there are different caste and creed people in India. So most of the people, those whom I have rescued from sex trafficking, are unfortunately Bengalis. So the moment they saw that a rescue person is Bengali, they were like, "Oh, you are Bengali. Oh, now why are they into sex work?" So then they started having this. I'm talking about law enforcement. Then they started saying, Bengalis eat a lot of non-veg, like non-vegetarian food. So, that's why they have this craving. So, it's very hurtful to hear this, because most of the people who do it, they don't do it by choice. They're forced into it. The first time is always forced. When some people tell me that, a lot of people do sex work now by choice. Yeah, they do it now by choice because they don't have any other source of livelihood. But when they started, they were forced. Like, I interviewed a sex worker. She told me, who would like to sleep with 20 men every day? Just tell me, who would like it? Today, I am doing it because I have children, because I have a family to run. The society won't take me. Will you take me as a house help in your own house? Will you? I had no question, no answer. So you can just imagine. So, it's really very difficult, a lot of challenges, but they say you're just pushing and you're just trying your best. So that's.
Yes. So tell us about your foundation. What exactly do you do? You go, I think you're doing prevention programs in schools and all that. Let our viewers know more about it.
So the name of my organization is Impact and Dialogue Foundation. So the name was Impact and Dialogue Foundation is because I create dialogues. I create dialogues in the sense, I think everybody has the power to bring a change. I feel it's not possible for everybody to come to a show like this. It's not possible. So what I do is that I go all around. I knock doors. People close the door on my face. Still, I do it. Every day, I start talking to everybody. Wherever I go, I talk to people, those who are in the transportations, like people who fly aeroplanes, people who drive trucks, people who drive cars. I talk to everybody whom I can and give them awareness. That's one thing I do. Second thing is that I try to reach youth as much as possible. Schools, colleges, communities. I create anti-trafficking clubs in schools, colleges. And there are people who are our hidden, you can say, not exactly agents, but hidden informatory people. Last week only, we rescued some children because they had just changed their picture in WhatsApp, and we realized that the children were on the verge of getting trafficked. So, there are different networks, because see, it's not possible for the police or the government to tackle trafficking alone. You have to do that. So what I do is that I'm doing mass awareness. It can be, it is like reaching out to people as much as possible. talking to the person who gives milk at my house, talking to shopkeepers. So that is the reason, and I'm trying to reach as much as possible schools, colleges, of course, educational institutions. But what we do, the biggest challenge that I have seen as an anti-trafficking activist is we educate the educated. We educate only police officers. We educate only activists and social workers. There's no point. They already know about it. Talk to the people who are not aware, like multinational companies. If you go and if you ask somebody who's sitting in Google, will not know what is anti-trafficking. So what I do, I try to educate people. I try to make people aware who don't know about it. It can be any lame person. Just start a conversation. I know they will get annoyed, but after a point they relate to it. Like I was just in another source area in India, which is affected by floods. So in India, most of the traffic source areas are flood affected areas. So a lot of children come from those flood areas. I was talking to the vice president of the transport corporation, and he told me that he will make sure that all the people who are members of transport corporation comes and attends my training. So now I don't arrange big trainings. I don't have the bandwidth to manage big podiums, big programs. So what I just randomly go to a field, and whoever I found, 5 minutes I try to talk. Because if I think that I'll have a stage, if I think that there will be a proper event, no, it doesn't happen. Like you need resource and you need people. So whatever is in my capacity, I do it. And it has been really so good. People have called me and told me there have been so many child marriages that have been stopped. So many traffickers have been arrested. People, those who drive cars and rickshaws, they are so aware, because in trafficking, transit and transportations are very important, because you cannot take a child from one place to another without putting that child in any vehicle. So when you educate the people who are driving those vehicles or those who are running those vehicles, you can eradicate trafficking to a large extent. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to do as much as is my possible. So this is what I do with my organizations. Apart from that, I'm into rehabilitation of survivors. At present, I'm supporting 30 survivors. We do different courses. I don't want to go with the conventional thing of stitching, the stereotype that women only do stitching and beautician and all. I'm trying to collaborate with different people so that we can put women in more of, technical jobs, like maybe doing something related with computers or doing something related with electricity. So that's what I'm doing, but it is in the nascent stage. But the 30 survivors are doing this stitching and all. They stay in a convent. We pay for their food and accommodation. We give them a safe space. Also, a lot of counseling is done. In India, maximum organizations think rehabilitation is compensation. No, rehabilitation is not compensation. Rehabilitation is also means counseling, making the person talk whatever he or she wants to do. In India, maximum sex traffic survivors are married off, which is another victimization. You should let the person do whatever she or he wants. They just put the children in schools. I ask the child what he or she wants to do. I make the child comfortable. I never talk to them about the trauma they faced. So, there are different ways I'm trying, still learning. And I learned from Elena a lot. So, yeah.
You do? Oh, good. Thank you. So, what about what I see? There is gender discrimination in India, as I understood. What about the services? I mean, welfare, police, legal services. Are they any? Tell us about the situation in India.
Legal services, very bad. Like, no, because it's delay and delay. I remember there was a woman who was rescued in 2001. She got justice, can you imagine, in 2014. So there is another problem of justice in India, because when a victim is rescued, the victim will share the ordeal he or she faced. But if time has passed, the victim wants to forget, and the court wants to make the victim remember. They send deposition in they send summons in their houses. And the moment they send summons, like for example, I'll tell you, anywhere in the world, if police comes to your house, you get really annoyed. Anybody will, and you get scared. In India, police go to the village to give a summon that you have to come as a witness. The moment police goes, the victim is terrified. And the victim wants to forget. And the legal system in India is very, very traumatizing. Multiple statements the child have to give, multiple times she has to tell the trauma she went through. And that is the reason a maximum times the victims turn hostile. And the justice system is really delayed. Police are very, very insensitive. You can't blame the police because most of the police are uneducated people. You can't blame the police. You can't blame the police because most of the times the police are uneducated. Like they are not sensitized. They are not in a position to, and they are not educated. They're not educated. There is so much of patriarchy in India. Most of the places from where I rescued children of forced marriage, there were so much of female feticide and infanticide that they started getting girls from other parts of the country and getting them married. So if a girl is 14 or 16, the child is married to a 40-year-old man, 45-year-old man. There are villages in India where you will find the entire village, man is 45, wife is 16. So it's crazy. And about the welfare departments, it's a challenge. It's a really challenge. The poverty is huge. I can't tell you the number of people who is below poverty line in India. Huge reason, and not just poverty. There is migration. Borders are porous. Biggest problem is natural disasters. Floods, famine, earthquakes. So multiple reasons. And yes, the discrimination, gender discrimination. Girl child, the first child, if it's a girl child, she has to take care of her siblings, fathers and mother walk in the field. They are working in the field, doing this rice, paddy, and all of this. The first child is taking care of the other children, but the innocence is there. So the moment a trafficker calls her and says her that I like you, I'm in love with you, she falls into the trap. So, lot of reason. I think India as a country, it is, of course, is developing, but one layer, they just don't know that the other layer is completely victimized. So, of course, welfare system, they are working, but they are not equipped. They are not equipped. Welfare officers are not sensitized. They are not counsel themselves. They are not themselves have the capacity to do. They are not, capacity building is not enough. Police officers, they educate only the senior officers, whereas they should educate the junior most officers who handle trafficking cases. So yeah, that's a challenge. And judiciary is really a mess in our country. The number of judges is very, very less.
And the girls, are they forced to be married?
Yes, they are
They don't
forced
go
to be married.
school. There's no school for the girls.
There are schools for the girls. Like one of the girl, she just told me she was going to give her 10th exam. She went out to take fresh air. One man comes, he just puts a, shawl on her and she becomes unconscious. When she opens her eyes, she sees herself being sold off.
Yes.
So it's crazy. Girls really do go to schools. Certain parts of the country, definitely they do. In India, like most of the awareness has happened, girls are educated. But the problem is poverty. Like after a point, the parents can't educate the girls. So what do? They put the girls at home. And when the girls are at home, not earning money, they get the girls married. So what are they supposed to do? So it's very difficult. Like for example, in certain places, there are cases of polyandry because no girls. So 5 brothers are marrying one girl. So it's just crazy. Also, there are certain communities in India. Like for example, in Rajasthan, there is a community known as Beria community, which puts the first daughter into sex work. First daughter, and the father and the brother get her clients. So it's a tradition. It's a tradition in certain communities in India. It's a tradition. So you can understand.
And this tradition is going on. Don't they don't you have any shelter so you can house these girls? Many girls don't want to do this, right? They want to escape. Where do they escape? If they want to escape, where do they go? Do you have a safe place for them?
See, the problem with India as a country is that the shelter homes, they no separate shelter homes. They put differently abled, raped children, trafficked survivor, abuse survivor together. Again, that's a problem.
Mhm.
So there are no separate shelter homes. So it's really very mess. And there's no way these people can run because certain people have accepted it. If it's my tradition, I have to do it. I remember talking to girls from Beria communities where they used to tell me, this is my family custom. I have to do it. I have no other choice. So it's a problem. It's really a problem.
So it's culture and tradition, and it's something that's going on for many generations, I think.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
So, what's the message you want to share to the world that they're listening to us now?
I just want to say to everybody out here, whoever is listening to me, you don't have to be an activist, you don't have to be a social worker, you don't have to be an influencer. If you want to actually do something in prevention of sex trafficking, just start telling people, talking to people, educate people, make them aware. Because when I started talking to people from the villages, they did not understand that patriarchy was wrong. It is the conditioning. They're conditioned in a way where they think everything is right. So unless and until you start making people realize what is right and what is wrong, things will not change. And I would say just being little alert helps. Be little alerts. If you want to create the change, just be alert. We human beings are so obsessed with our own self, all of us. I'm not talking about anyone in general, it includes me also at some extent. We don't care what happens to somebody beside us unless and until it starts hitting us personal in our personal family. We don't realize. So I think talk it out, help people. I'm not just saying that you have to leave your jobs. No, you have to take care of your family, you have to earn, you have to put your child in school, to take care of your wife. Whatever you do, try to be a little aware, spread the word, be a little alert, try to fulfill the role as an active citizen. Nothing else you need to do. Just fulfill your role as an active citizen. I tell people in my country, we are the democratic country. We are the biggest democracy in the world. Try to give a lending hand. I'm not telling you that you need to fund me or you need to spend a lot of money. No, whatever is in your capacity. One call. If you're seeing somebody who is being a domestic violence survivor, just call the police. Be anonymous. Most of the times, we are scared. We think, oh, we will get in trouble. So I think we have to be a little bit selfless if we want to bring the change. So I would just request everybody listening to me, please do whatever is in your capacity. You don't have to sacrifice anything, just do whatever is in your capacity. And trust me, you cannot imagine the satisfaction you will have after doing it. So that's it.
And sex trafficking, child sexual abuse, and abuse in general has to stop. And
Yes,
children have to be protected. They have to be protected.
absolutely, absolutely, they have to be.
And how can someone reach out to you, Palabi?
I will just share my contact number. I will
Okay.
just share my email ID. I will just send my organization detail. You can reach out to me anything. I am looking more for people who can help me in spreading the word, help me in creating collaterals, because frankly speak, I'm always on the ground. I'm not that good with collaterals. So anything, anyone, if anybody feels connected to the work I do, please reach out to me, and I would be really humbled. All my gratitude. Thank you so much, Elena. I really get a lot of inspiration from Elena. I have my heartful gratitude to her. The
Welcome.
yeah,
Welcome.
the Miss Texas show is doing an incredible job, because it's difficult to get voices from across the world, which they are doing. Every person has a story, and I think it's important to hear those stories. So yes, feel free to reach me, and I would be more than happy to take all your help. Any support. It is
And,
not always.
and also if funders are listening, or anyone that wants to fund Palabi's foundation, she will be grateful and for the help, because she's doing a lot of great work there, and we need to give her a lending hand. So thank you, Palabi, for all that you have shared and you're doing, and I wish you all good wishes for all you're doing. Thank you to our viewers for being here, and I appreciate your comments, feedback, and wonderful support. And I want to say goodbye and see you in another edition. Goodbye, Palabi. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Elena.